Hello, everyone. Welcome back to yet another political episode. So apparently, we are right with this article here, and we're gonna be trying to take a look at our previous predictions. Like I said, we were kind of right with kind of what Joe Biden, what kind of a narrative Joe Biden kind of set. It was more like a campaign speech, an old angry man sitting there whacking his hammer. Everyone listen to me, and he goes on a big list and a big rant of people he doesn't like. Many of that is Donald Trump. Heck, he attacks Trump, then he attacks his own endorser, Vladimir Putin, and it's just so hypocritical. Like, but I bet Biden's secretly doing a thank you message to Putin right now, like weeks ago after his former endorsement, saying thank you for the endorsement, buddy. Like, if he wasn't for Vladimir Putin, he probably wouldn't have won the super primary. But that is probably going on right now, and that is probably going to be called for Biden today, but we'll be reviewing that tomorrow, of course. But let's start off talking about what the polls have kind of been released and kind of basically what Americans abroad think about Biden's speech. First off, it didn't really change. It didn't even make a dent. First off, most Americans, a record of Americans, didn't even watch because, first off, what has changed? Joe Biden, for 3 years, has lied and saying, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this better. And has it been better? No, it's been worse. Because every year it gets worser and worser. 2021, his first address, we're like, oh, yay, we're so happy Trump is gone. And then we have Biden's 2022 address. And we're like, oh, okay, 2021 wasn't that good of a year for him. Let's see what 2022 is going to be like. And then we not so good for him because he made a war break out in Europe, and we have this giant war, and we're giving all our money to it. It doesn't even involve us, and meanwhile, we're totally forgetting about prioritizing, like the border, the economy, etc. And then after 2022, 2023 address, high gas prices and inflation, a recession, and of course an ongoing war. Biden does his third address. Says he's going to do a better job. People are like, okay, hopefully this year's going to be the one. And it does. It isn't, because what good has Biden done? We had East Palestine, and then we have Israel, Gaza, and let's see, the border crisis blew up. And then here comes old Joe Biden coming up. They gave him some cans of Coke, jug it down. Seriously, it says roughly 3 in 10 Americans say President Joe Biden outperformed their expectations at Thursday's State of the Union address. Of course he did. Who went into the State of the Union? Who here thought that Joe Biden was going to be so sleepy? Of course not. They're not going to dare put him on the stage. They're not even going to dare send him up. They wouldn't be that stupid. Are you kidding? They would have canceled it. They would have canceled it. Joe Biden, they'll find a reason. They always find a reason. The government will find a reason, and the media will always justify it. But luckily, thanks to caffeine and drugs these days, Joe Biden was happy cracking up for an hour and 30 minutes on stage, talking about stuff that really, really didn't really concern the American people. Like, for example, the January 6th insurrection that happened 3 years ago, that is pretty much done. Joe Biden and Democrats are acting like, oh, insurrectionists are gonna take up arms, and they didn't even take up arms in the insurrection. Very first insurrection, by the way, to never involve a gun. Sure, there were like probably 10% of the insurrectionists had a gun with them. There were definitely people that had guns, but a majority of them were arms free. First insurrection in world history that does not involve guns. This is why I'm talking. The insurrection was an event gone wrong. And that happens all the time. It's very inappropriate for it to happen in the United States. I'll give it to you on that one. But like France, the UK, London, and Brazil, that happens all the time. Events, and they go, as you know, haywire. So that is pretty much, that is the current, as you know, situation in regards to the State of the Union and how people thought of Joe Biden. Like, people didn't even watch. People are fed up. Joe Biden was greeted by pro-Hamas protesters who were giving him a nice greeting to the Capitol. You know what? Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. You actually think Joe Biden's going to win? Really? These pro-Palestinian protesters, they're saying that they'd rather have Trump back in office than to have Israel continue to bombard Gaza. And that's why they are pushing the uncommitted vote. That's why they are wasting their evenings literally getting into hazmat suits and jumpsuits in protests to protest Joe Biden's arrival at the Capitol. Not only that, but yeah, I mean, you got to be dead serious. If you want to kind of trick Republicans, you wouldn't take that go that far into doing that. You got to be so committed to not voting for Joe Biden. I know a lot of people that are over strategic and think that Democrats are overly strategic. No, they're not. The Republicans are not as strategic as the Democrats. That's the reality. But to be honest, Democrats aren't strategic, because if they were strategic, we would have had a President Hillary Clinton in office, and she probably would be serving president right now, and we'd probably talking about her successor. But yes, that's if Democrats were strategic. It was the Republicans that were strategic in 2016. The Democrats melt down when we bring that up, but it's true. It's true. The Trump train was much bigger than they thought, and it crushed Clinton on the tracks. Like, huge. And the disappointment and the meltdowns, oh my gosh, glorious. I was only like 11 during 2016. It was so good, though. I wasn't even a fan of politics. I cared less. I cared more about action figures and middle school stuff. But guess what? I did know, you're like, you know what? I'm happy. My family was happy Trump won, because if a Clinton presidency would be a nightmare, a scary nightmare, like a humiliation. And Joe Biden presidency is like that. But thank goodness Joe Biden has overperformed basic expectations of what I would thought a Clinton presidency would be like. But thank goodness, to a point, Biden's not as far left as Clinton. That's in my opinion. But they're still equally far left. But yes, the State of the Union, pretty garbage. Yeah, I know. A lot of us thought, oh, he's going to be so sleepy. He's going to be blundery. I personally am like, no, he's not. Because the Democrats, they're smart. They know that this guy's dying. This guy's a dying president, not politically, but physically. He's dying. He is literally going to die in the next 10 years. You really think Joe Biden is going to live 10 more years? Really? I think he's going to live right when Trump gets into office. He's probably going to die. Look at that. You see the footage from 2021 to 2024. Huge changes. Huge. A can of Coke will make him more talkative, but that can of Coke's going to last a couple hours. And then he's going to be a slow Joe for the rest of the night. And yeah. And the fact is, it's not his old age. Old age is probably the reason why he's doing so bad. That's not an excuse. Joe Biden's dragging us into a world war. And they told us, Trump's going to start a world war. No, he isn't. Like, what? How? Trump hasn't even got us involved in any wars. So how is he going to start in a world war? How? They keep saying Trump's going to start. Joy Reid, Joyless Greed, is going off in a tangent, whiny rant on how Trump's going to start World War III. In reality, she's totally dismantling facts that Joe Biden has got us more into World War III, close to World War III than in the 60s. Even closer than the 60s. To tell you the truth, Trump kept us away from a third world war because we were talking with Russia. We had a plan with Russia. We were, the Democrats like to say, appeasing Russia, appeasing North Korea. No, that's how international politics works. We talk, we banter, we discuss, and we make deals because making deals prevents a nuclear war. Do you want a nuclear war? Do you want to have this hostile tensionist relationship with Russia? Donald Trump's doing what I hope he should be doing. We need to make peace with the Russians. The Democrats keep saying, oh, Putin, Trump, Putin, friends, oh, bad Putin, bad, bad, bad. And I'm like, yeah. But here's the thing, thinking that way, thinking like Putin as the biggest monster is not going to help the situation. It's going to make it worse. And more and more we elect these people that absolutely hate Putin and don't want to talk with Putin and make more deals, who's going to do the talking then? Nobody. And then we get into a hostile tensionist war. We will never like Putin, and that's fine. Guess what? I don't like Putin either. Putin's a bully. I agree with that. But regardless of what you feel, you should try to work with each other. Because in the end, working with each other helps the innocent people that deserve to live a happy life away from nuclear war. That's what it should be like. So yeah, Biden's garbage State of the Union, mainly State of the Party, regardless, it was more of a party address than an actual national address, because national address, you don't attack your opponents politically. Have we ever done that? Trump hasn't even done that. And we go after Trump for attacking the fake news media. He hasn't done that. I don't think he has. As far as I remember, Joe Biden has done it all 4 addresses. And all 4 addresses has been about insurrection. Like, seriously. Like, do you think, yes, this insurrection was bad, but it's over. And now we need to start rebuilding our relationships with our neighbors and our friends that were ruined by that insurrection. And Democrats want to continue to ruin it. Democrats want to continue to ruin relationships with families. They want to continue to divide. And that's why I'm a proud Republican. Because Democrats continue to promote division to gain profit and to get power and money. That's how corrupt they are. But American and the MAGA Republicans, we're going to unite this country. Everyone, even Democrats. We want Democrats to unite too. They have a problem with us. They started this, not us. But we want them to join our mission too, to make America great again. And I hope we all agree on that. But anyway, I want to thank you all for watching and tune in on the next political episode.